hit record. So I have three objectives today. I want to make the time worthwhile. I want to share my most effective health strategy and a universal wealth strategy. And we're simply going to start with a story, my family story. So my parents, they've now been married 60 years. They literally walked to school together as kindergartners, started dating in junior high school, got married immediately after, married for 60 years. So what a fabulous existence they've had. And my parents taught me so much, as our parents do. And among the best things they taught me was the golden rule. They lived it. They treated people like they wanted to be treated, still do. And it's always been fantastic for them. But in terms of economics, they were in the model of trading time for money. And it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't, right? People who trade for time for money often don't have enough of either. And so we're going to build on that a little bit later. I didn't mind working hard, that's for sure. 70 hours per week for my 9 years of college, 30 years of clinical practice. And now I'm going to share what I was most unhappy with clinical practice. Even though I could get some wonderful fast changes with these individuals, I created programs that were supposed to last a lifetime to keep them so healthy, so vibrant, so fit. But after the season, after the career, after the gold medal, after the championship, whatever it was, they all stopped their programs. So, I really want to add value to people forever. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, if we add value forever, we continue to make the world better. And what if we could easily and automatically add value every single day, in fact, multiple times a day, for the lifetime of the individual? And literally, that's what we're offering. We can improve people's health in a compound way multiple times every day by giving them turbocharged, delicious coffee, tea, hot chocolate, shakes, etc. And we'll share some details on what makes it turbocharged. So instead of the trading time for money model, there you can build a business. And most people know it takes a lot of effort to build a business. By the way, I'll show data, but if you start a business tomorrow, a traditional business, there's a 96% probability it won't be in business in 10 years. But we have a business model where you have help building it, and then you have help with the momentum. So literally, you can do the work once and get paid for a long, long time. The sad reality is, in this model, most people quit before they ever get to the momentum. You know what? I took the advice of a quitter, and it kept me from this business model for 37 years. And then one of my new mentors said this. He says, there's three types of people you can listen to: someone who's never tried, someone who's tried and failed, and someone who kept trying and succeeded. And ultimately, those are the great stories. And when I listened to someone that had succeeded, I built this type of business. And literally, in my world, every single day is World Health Day. And I'm happy to say World Wealth Day. Multiple times, over 10,000 people every single day are getting healthier. And because I did the work, I get paid on all of that. So let's talk coffee and understand that the tea and hot chocolate statistics are pretty much the same. But this is US alone. 64% of Americans consume coffee every day, basically 2 out of 3. That comes down to 400 million cups a day and 146 billion cups a year. Now, most people aren't really numbers people. They couldn't fathom a billion. So let me expand on that a little. So a billion days ago, or let's go a billion years ago, our universe didn't exist. A billion days ago, there was no life on planet Earth. A billion hours ago was the old Stone Age. A billion minutes ago was the Roman Empire. A billion seconds ago was over 31 years ago. But a billion cups of coffee ago, well, that was about 10 hours ago, because the world consumes over 2 billion cups every single day. So these businesses knew that coffee was big business. Starbucks started charging premium prices for a better environment and a better cup of coffee. And it wasn't long before McDonald's said, you know what, we can do that too. And Burger King followed suit, and Subway and Dunkin' Donuts. These are all very successful business models. And guess what? Coffee is their most profitable venture. Now I'm going to share what makes our coffee better with a documentary that I really love called Fantastic Fungi. We'll play a few minutes of that and then we'll go from there.
My mission is to discover the language of nature, and I believe nature is intelligent.
There is a world under the earth full of magic and mystery. It holds the consciousness of nature's connection to all living things.
These mushrooms, they can heal you, they can feed you, they can kill you.
It's not like a vegetable and it's not like an animal, but it's somewhere in between.
They support life, they convert life.
As you're walking, there's about 300 miles of fungi
Under every footstep that you take, and that's all over the world. The bulk of the organism is growing underground, and it's composed of these long threads called a mycelium.
Almost everyone knows about the computer internet. The mycelium shares the same network design. It's amazing what we don't know about mushrooms. They really are a frontier of knowledge. You can filter water. You can create medicinal compounds almost on demand.
They have incredible capacity to make things change very quickly. So I am super hopeful.
If you knew that every breath you took could save hundreds of lives into the future, had you walked down this path of knowledge, wouldn't you run down that path of knowledge as fast as you could? I believe nature is a force of good. Good is not only a concept, it is a spirit. And so hopefully the spirit of goodness will survive.
So a very, very, very powerful documentary. This is Paul Stamets. He literally wrote the book about medicinal mushrooms. And why did he dedicate his life to medicinal mushrooms? Very simple story. He had a horrific stutter as a child, and it resolved with mushrooms. And which mushroom is he most excited about, or which one is most proven? Ganoderma, also called the king of herbs, the herb of immortality. And this is what's in our coffee and tea. So when you look at why people make, a food decision, this is universal across the globe. Number one, it's got to taste good. And one of the advantages of our coffee, not only is it delicious, but it has no coffee aftertaste, no coffee breath. Profoundly convenient. We just add water. It's at a very affordable price, less than half the cost of Starbucks at retail, full retail. And ours is profoundly healthy. And Ganoderma is a superfood. It has all the fabulous 50, all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, and water at a dose that make an impact on human health. It is the consensus top superfood on the planet. So 50,000 foods, ours has more nutrition than any of them. Jack Welch was the CEO of the last century. He said, if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. Well, guess what? We have two patented advantages, two patented processes that give us the great taste of gourmet coffee, give us the convenience of just add water, and ours is healthier than other people that would put Ganoderma in coffee. They can do that, but we process the coffee in such a way that we minimize the acid, and that maximizes the enzyme efficiency of Ganoderma and the health benefits within the body. There are other mushroom coffees out there. They're aptly named because they actually taste like mushroom soup. I encourage people, don't take my word for anything. Try it. Try their coffee. Try ours. You'll find that ours is delicious. Theirs tastes like mushroom soup. If you want mushroom soup, theirs is the way to go. And then drink ours for a week. I give a money-back guarantee. In 9 years, I say, if you're not satisfied with how it tastes and how it makes you feel, give me the box back, empty box back. I'll give you every penny back. No refunds. No one's asked for a refund in 9 years. You can't get much more convenient than just adding water. Over 1,900 medical studies over the last 60 years with a dramatic increase over the last couple of decades. And so many things are proven. It's proven to enhance the immune system, the liver, the lungs, the brain, the heart, the kidney, and the gut. And I always tell people you have an easier time finding something that it isn't proven to do than something that it is. This was an article entitled 9 Reasons to Avoid Coffee. And we have peer-reviewed medical studies that show that our coffee quite simply negates all of them. So I always tell people if you have a hard time with regular coffee, you can probably consume ours immediately without any issue whatsoever. If you still have an issue, maybe you take some of our capsules for a week and that changes the game. Medicinal mushroom market, $50 billion a year. Ganoderma US alone, $2.5 billion a year. Perfectly safe for pregnant women and their babies. No known drug interaction, no known toxicity. And as I love to say, my daughter-in-law and my first granddaughter, Lily, multiple times a day from conception all the way through now, still through mother's milk, and Christie's baby, Leah, both, right? Multiple times a day, every day, beautiful, healthy babies. So the company started out with Vibrant Health through coffee, then tea, then they added hot chocolate, then they added soap, then they added toothpaste. Now we have a cognition energy drink. Then we bought a 20-year, all successful skincare line, all natural, all organic out of New Zealand, because why not be healthy on the outside and the inside? Then we added luxury travel. We have partnerships with over 100,000 resort locations all over the world at the guaranteed best price. Then we partnered with a company called NeuroTracker, 20 years of proven brain benefits in every demographic, whether you're 5 or 100 or 5 and everywhere in between. They prove that you create a better brain in 6 15-minute sessions, a better brain in 90 minutes. When people consume Ganoderma, their brain improves by 130%. And I'll tell you what, 130% better brain in 90 minutes, it's well worth the investment of time. And ultimately, we've become an ever-evolving ecosystem where everybody wins, where we improve health, wealth, beauty, and paradise. So think about this question. Would you like to take your better brain, body, and beautiful skin to wonderful places and enjoy deliciousness? I'm thinking that we would get a 100 of 100 people that would say yes. So our products are absolutely for everyone. And our business offers total freedom, but oddly enough, there's plenty of people that don't take us up on that option. And that's really okay. Richard Blissbrook is one of my mentors. And he says people typically object to the business model because of how they were introduced to it. And if we could just quite simply raise the professionalism, not pester people, pound people, call them foolish for not taking advantage of this, well, then we would ultimately build a base of people that can create their better life. Interesting documentary called Rise of the Entrepreneur. They have over 25 world experts talking about this business model. But here's how it started. There was a company called California Vitamins. Now, this was in the 1940s. And they had a meeting and they said, you know what, our sales are terrible. Do you have any ideas? And someone said, what if we allowed anyone and everyone to build a sales team, right? That would be completely unique. So instead of all these salespeople having a quota that they needed to get to every single day, everyone could build a team. And it's pretty fascinating how the math works, but you can get paid up to 9 levels deep. And if you get 3, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, by the time it's 9 levels deep, those numbers are absolutely staggering. And yes, you do get paid on all of them. So this company ultimately became Amway. So California Vitamins became a company called Nutrilite. Nutrilite was bought out by Amway because 2 guys started a cleaning business company, cleaning supply company. And they thought this business model works, let's do it. And these vitamins are really good, let's add it. So when you look, last year they did 8.4 billion with a B in sales. They have 3 million distributors, but this is about a lot of people doing a little. So what does that mean? The average distributor only does $233 a month. Now, what does it take to get that in coffee and tea? Well, believe it or not, 2 or 3 average coffee drinkers in yourself will get you to that number. Amway was the first company that went from a society of brick and mortar to a society of click and order. So this really threatened the traditional business model. And so they literally created a lawsuit that was seen by the US Supreme Court. And basically, Amway won. There was nothing illegal about what they were doing. And now this business model is in nearly every country around the world and is about $200 billion a year. All of these people endorse this business model because it has a very low risk, very high reward. Some call it business training school for entrepreneurs. As Tony Robbins will tell you, 96% of businesses that start today will fail within 10 years. The average business is going to be more than a $50,000 startup, where ours is a $50 startup. Could you lose your 50 bucks? I guess you could, but guess what? For that $50, you get all the products at wholesale. And if you just switch your coffee, you'll save more than that over the course of a year. I've become a progressively big fan of Grant Cardone. He's in a documentary called Undercover Billionaire. And basically they said, you know what, we're going to give you 90 days. We're going to drop you off in a town that you don't know anybody. You will have no contacts in your phone. You'll only have $100 and you won't have your identity. And you have 90 days to create $1 million business. Now, Grant did that. He actually crushed it. But he says, look, the only way you're going to do that is to partner with a good company with good products. He partnered with a mattress company, if you can imagine that. Well, how often do you buy a mattress? Compare that to how often you buy coffee or tea. And then let's think about your friends, right? Maybe the people buy a mattress once every decade. It's probably less often than once every a new car. So pretty fascinating there. So when you partner with a successful company, you dramatically reduce your risks. This is Organo's corporate headquarters. We're in our 12th year. They crossed $1 billion in sales in their first 5 years. That was faster than Apple, faster than McDonald's, faster than Facebook, faster than Microsoft. And they did it without a storefront or a dollar spent on advertising. So they take care of the accounting, the legal and compliance, the shipping and receiving, the customer service, the research and development, the production, the logistics, and the global expansion. And, you know, when you think about this, we're now in 40 countries. Last year, 2 years ago, Organo hired away the global logistics manager for UPS. And what great timing, because we were declared essential in every country in 2020. We have this level of quality certification, and anybody at the click of a barcode on a package can see where all of our products come and all of the certifications on it. And we are all over the globe. Now, I love the idea of everybody wins. When you click on the barcode, you can actually see the coffee farmers and what they're doing to diligently create crops. And you can actually tip them if you choose. They have a patent on the technology where they get bees and they can extract their venom for bee venom and skincare without harming the bees. They take sachets and they donate them to women in Thailand, and they teach them to make purses like this, which are phenomenal. And they can take care of their family with our products that would be waste products. So our company is green, they're clean, they're expansive, they're global, they're profitable, and we have all that opportunity for basically $50. Investopedia says word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of advertising, whereas 92% of people would take a recommendation from someone they trust over any type of media advertising. So what do we do as a partner? We build a base of customers. Remember, no customers, no business. And you can build customers for any or all of our product lines. And then you can build a team of business builders. So I show growing by a multiple of 10. You know, the biggest earner in Organo got to 10,000 in a matter of months. And I'll show you soon how lucrative that was. You know, me and my wife, we did it part-time. We got there in 5 years. And I can tell you it's profoundly lucrative. These are people that see the value in building a team and being part of a valuable team, sharing these treasures with people that they know. So John D. Rockefeller, richest man ever, said he'd rather earn 1% of 100% of people's efforts, 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of his own. Now, look at this comparison. If you work 40 hours a week, and most people can sustain that level, that if you do it 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours a year. By the time you get to 1,000 team members, you can do it as fast or slow as you want. If they all put in 1 hour a week, just 1 hour, I promise you, everybody can find an hour for something important. That's 1,000 hours a week times 50 weeks a year, 50,000 hours per year where people can fit it in their spare time, and they accomplish more than you would in 25 years of full-time effort. And by the way, it pays nicely that way too. And I'll talk about the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. If you give people better choices, more affordable choices, tasty choices, convenient choices, delicious choices, you're serving them well, and you can get compensated not just on 1,000, but as many thousands as you want to create, up to 9 levels deep. So how much money can you make? I love the story of Dakota Miller. You know, she stuck a fork in her family's microwave, and her parents are very responsible. They said, you know what? You broke it, you fix it. She said, how am I going to do that? You know, I don't have that type of skill. I don't have that type of money. They said, look, go door to door and sell hot chocolate. Tell them your story. You know, I stuck a fork in the microwave. My parents are teaching me responsibility. Will you help me out and buy a box of hot chocolate? She earned $250 in 3 hours. And that was just selling hot chocolate. She could have sold coffee and tea and other things as well. This is an interesting couple that was about to get evicted. And by the way, that's not them. I didn't have a picture of them. That's a stock photo. But my son, Jacob, you know, when he talked to him, they said, look, we're about to get evicted. He said, look, pull out your smartphone, literally call everybody in your phone and say, look, we're about to get evicted. Will you help us out and buy a box of coffee or tea? Made $750 in 4 hours. Love the story of Diane Solano. You know, 6 years ago, she became a single mom and was in a really desperate circumstance. We introduced a business to her. She went to work, became an absolute master promoter, probably the highest paid skill in this business model. If you can promote a Zoom, if you can promote an event, you can get rich. And guess what? She did that, right? It's funny, her son Dylan said to her mom, you remind me of the Queen of England. You're rich and you're powerful. And then they travel the world taking these dream vacations. And they went from, you know, what are we going to eat? Literally, when you're eating organic food, you wonder how you're going to afford it, to where should we go on our next adventure? Emily Morrow, fantastic story. I did a health consult with her and she started consuming organo products. We can't make health claims, but let's just say this picture had what she had going on and even more going on. And she had a phenomenal product experience. And she said, wow, this is amazing. And she started sharing it. Well, then she got furloughed from a job that she absolutely loved, stepped up her Instagram presence with her mushroom queens, and built a over $200,000 a month team with phenomenal profitability for her just with Instagram posts. And then if you want to talk about really big money, Holton Buggs is a professional networker. He crossed that 10,000 number in a matter of months. In his first 8 years, he earned over $68 million. And then he said, you know what? I've always wanted my own network marketing company. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go do that. And Organo said, go for it, man. We love and appreciate you for your service. Go do it. So he raised the bar high and made his dream come true. Millionaires are said to have multiple sources of income, 7 sources. My favorite happens to be royalty income. Do the work once, get paid more than once. And coffee may be the best royalty product and the best compounding health product, because when people consume 3.3 cups a day, that's 3.3 times a day. They're putting something super healthy in their body in a therapeutic dose over 1,200 times a year. So I just crossed 9 years in this business. So some people that I introduced early on, one introduction, I've been paid over 10,000 times on their consumption. So we have a phenomenally strong team. Teamwork makes the dream work. We have Zooms multiple times every single week. We have skills training. We have health training. We have Facebook groups that focus on health and skills and business. And so if you can add people to a Facebook group or to a Zoom, you can do this work. $49.95 gets you in, plus your products of choice. And Organo has what's called accelerator packs, good, better, and best, bronze, silver, and gold. With a gold pack, you basically get paid more than twice as much as a bronze pack on the same amount of effort. And by the way, a time and a half as much as the silver pack. And they're special. It's normally $1,200 for a gold pack. You get a Purist Gold pack and a free mug, $535 value for $500. You save money immediately on it, and you get grandfathered in at the highest level. So I don't know if you know people that felt like this in 2020. I know a bunch. If you're fighting a battle which is near impossible to win, well, what if you could get help from above or below? And that's what happens when you join a winning team and build a winning team. And if you want the total freedom, that's what we are offering with the business model. So before I transition to that, Ahmed, I'm going to go back to you for a moment after I go with Jim Rohn's 4 questions. So Jim Rohn is a guy that became a multimillionaire in this business model in the 1960s. When he would do a business presentation like this, and by the way, he was a broke college dropout before then, he would finish with these questions. First question is why? Why did you take the time to join us today? There's so many things you could do. Second question is the answer to the first. Why not? Why not learn about something that can make you and nearly everybody you know healthier multiple times every day and wealthier if you choose? Third question is why not you? The longer you wait to act on information, right, the least likely you are. That actually blends in the fourth. Why not now? So act now. Ahmed, are you ready to share your thoughts and experience?
Absolutely, Dr. Bob. Thank you so much for your amazing presentation as always. I mean, like, I know because of the time difference, it's quite different, but I always plug into all your presentations, even though it's like midnight plus here in the UK. Can't get enough of it. Absolutely love it. So thank you very much for everything that you do for us. So basically, just want to share, obviously, my experience with Organo. I mean, like, this pandemic now has been going on for close to a year now. And I've literally have been in and out of jobs in the UK. We're in our 3rd lockdown at this particular point, and obviously I don't want to go into politics, but obviously there are things that could be handled better. So obviously I've spent most of my 12 months not working. So obviously I have a family exactly to provide for. So obviously income is very, very important. So obviously a good friend of mine came across this business for me, and I was absolutely fascinated. I said yes, literally before I knew what it was, because I knew it was money related. I knew how to make it. I knew that I needed to make it. So I thought, you know what, let's go in and I'll learn to do it later. So that's exactly what I did. So on my first Zoom presentation, I was hooked, absolutely loved it. And Dr. Bob, your first health presentation of mine back in March 2020, I was hooked, loved it. I knew that I was born to do this. So every single day has been a pleasure. And literally as months go by, my team is growing. Currently, I'm a Platinum VIP consultant. My goal for this year is to become a Sapphire, which I'm actually working towards now. So obviously 2021, my intention was to have a much better 2020. So we're still obviously in a bit of the aftermath from the current lockdown situation at the moment, but I know things are getting better. So we've had announcements in the UK that by June 21st, that everything will be back to normal. No more lockdowns, providing with the current situation where it's going. So we are happy. So we've still got obviously the second half of the year to enjoy travel without any restrictions. So quite excited. So one thing I'd like to touch about is obviously, Dr. Bob, you mentioned about obviously getting people on a Zoom call. Now we've got a lot of people who add value to the businesses, who've been in the company for quite some time. And obviously for people that are new, who've actually recently been with us for weeks and months, who actually never been in the actual network marketing scenario previously before. And to be honest with you, I believe that it is definitely the greatest industry in the world. I've been in marketing for 23 years myself, but network marketing is 100 times more better. I totally agree. And literally I'm working towards my goal now to actually build my Organo business to a certain stage where I can actually leave my full-time job permanently and just concentrate on this world fully, travel the world with my laptop, with my phone, connecting with new people and actually adding value to their lives and actually bringing them into this business as well and helping them to change their lives, which is becoming a new goal. Healing the world has been my phase that I used quite a lot in 2020, healing the world one sip at a time. And the inspirational stories is another reason why I joined this business, especially Hannah Cohen's story, which touched me a lot. And that was literally was a game changer on my purpose, on what was my reason for joining this business. So I know for a fact that if I help people, I know that it's going to help me in the long run as well. So helping people has become very, very important to me, especially in the last 12 months. Becoming humanitarian has been a great feeling, and especially the people that how I've impacted in the UK. So I get great satisfaction, great joy out of it. So can't get enough of it. So I just want to reach out to as many people as possible, and especially in our Organo UK group, I have been quite vocal. If anybody needs to reach out to me, they know exactly where I'm happy to help them 24/7, no problem at all. And obviously just want to address a couple of situations that obviously getting people on Zoom, before I get to the UK part, getting people on Zoom, I've come up with a strategy especially for new people who've never been in the network marketing situation. I think it's a great strategy to use. Just obviously reaching out to people, you can do it via text message or even a call, voice note. There's so many ways how you can communicate with people. And I found this strategy to be very useful for me. So I don't know if everybody's tried it. So is when you're approaching somebody, you want to make it personal. Obviously, you want to find out how they are, because you don't want to go for the sales kill straight away. Obviously, that's going to be a major put off from my experience, and which I know, and I know a lot of people have actually done it as well. So obviously, reaching out to them, and obviously addressing the situation. We know that we're in the pandemic. We know a lot of people are not working at the moment. Obviously, would you be open to an extra income? I'm hoping that 100% of the people say, yeah, obviously, I'll make an extra income. It's just getting from establishing the extra income and then getting them onto the Zoom call. I would turn around and say, hey, listen, I know we're in the current situation at the moment. I don't know about you, but I've actually personally lost my job. And obviously, as you know, I've got a family that I'm providing. I've come across this fantastic opportunity, which somebody shared with me, and it's actually completely life-changing. And I want to share this with you. I've recently joined this business, but I know me and you, we go way back. But I wanted to pick your brains. I needed your advice more than anything else. So I do value your opinion. So I was just basically wondering, to making sure that if I've made the right decision in this business, if you could spare me 30 minutes of your time, if you can actually kindly jump on a Zoom presentation with me as well, just for my peace of mind, then you can actually kindly give me your feedback afterwards, which would be very grateful, because right now I think this is absolutely an amazing opportunity. But obviously other people's, your opinion may make a great decision in whether I pursue or don't pursue. So basically that's a strategy that I normally use. And obviously with someone that I do personally know, I know I probably would have helped them in the past, so they might have owed me a favor or two. But obviously just addressing situation that, listen, I've become jobless. And I'm reaching out to people who I can help as well. So if you come across sincere that way, I believe that people will take it seriously, and nothing talking about making X amount of money, get rich quick scheme, which obviously this business isn't, far from it. And obviously then people can agree and understand your story because they're in the same situation, and hoping that obviously your bond becomes stronger just by inviting them on this presentation. And then obviously that you let your mentors, such as yourself, Dr. Bob, or obviously anybody else like myself in the UK, let them do their part. Because obviously we're mentors for a reason, and obviously, like, you know, Dr. Bob, every time you do a presentation, the world listens. I listen, the whole world listens. So we love you, we respect you for everything that we do. So we know for a fact that if we can get somebody on a presentation, on your presentation, I know for a fact that you're going to help us to actually get that person joining our family and joining our business. So obviously just that little hurdle of getting people, reaching out to people and then getting them actual on a Zoom call, it is a process, but I think that strategy, how I've just mentioned, does work, and I have used it quite a few times, and I've got a very good hit rate on that. So literally I've actually signed up a few more people this week as well, which is absolutely great. But yeah, no, I think I thought I'd share that strategy for a lot of people who are still new, who would like to be in a better situation, better position, pretty much 12 months from now in terms of building a team, because we know that there's 7 ways how we make money in Organo. But 2 out of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are through your team. So obviously step number 1, you can actually use your e-commerce website, or you can personally sell the products by having the product yourself. But the 80% of the business is making money through your team. So obviously it's important that we know that we have to get them on a presentation. But obviously there are other ways, by sharing a cup of coffee with them, which is I personally think is an amazing strategy, because once they've tasted coffee, naturally they're going to fall in love with our products. It will help them as well. And naturally they want to know, well, this has helped me. How many more people can I help as well, naturally? And it becomes a lot more personal to you as well. So, which I totally agree. People all over the world, I mean, like people in South Africa, they inspire me every single day. Zaf, Rose, everything what they're doing over there is absolutely amazing. Eric, what you're doing is absolutely amazing as well. Can't get enough of obviously your videos of what you're doing is absolutely amazing. But obviously one thing I love about, especially in the South Africa team, and obviously the teams in kind of all over the world, it seems that the strategy is quite common. It's just helping people with their health, and the amount of testimonials, the inspiration stories that we get as well. And obviously it's absolutely amazing. Like how can someone not join this business? How can you not? As you said, Dr. Bob, it's not a drug. We can't say cure, but it can only help. And I promise you, it will help a lot more people than for the people that I don't. But unfortunately, you will come across some stubborn people. But guess what? Some point in the future, they'll reach out to you. And I've actually experienced that as well. So people that I've actually shown the plan to almost about 8-9 months ago, who completely turned me down. And now, obviously, a few months later, they've actually reached out to me, and now they've actually joined the business. So people who say no to you now will always, they're not gone. They will come back to you in some point in the future, but you move on. So there's always there's 7 billion people in the world. So we've got 7 billion opportunities. And obviously social media, Emily Morrow, she's done absolutely amazing. As you rightfully pointed out, Dr. Bob, on Instagram, absolutely amazing. And literally, she's been with Organa for a few years now, and her progress has been steady. But ever since this pandemic, it's just absolutely taken off. She's literally blowing every roof. Now, literally, I don't think there's a stadium out there with a roof anymore, because she's blown it all off. So obviously the power of social media, and that's where the whole world is living now. We all know, and like we take the internet away, we take Instagram, we take Facebook away. I mean, like we're going back to the 1980s, early 90s, and like, you know, it's a tough area to go back into, especially with how the world has revolved. So that was one input I wanted to say. But obviously I've got a quick slideshow just for some people in the UK, just obviously a certain announcements as well, because we all know with the government, with Brexit, etc., that we've actually experienced. So if just bear with me 1 second, just want to share my screen. Guys, if you can just kindly give me a thumbs up if you can actually see the screen. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. So obviously, myself and Hannah Cohen, we've actually been communicating a lot recently, especially since January, with the current Brexit situation, with the government, etc., with lockdown, and basically we've actually been dealing with corporate around Europe, and obviously we wanted to help all our distributors in the UK in terms of products as well. Now in the UK, the products are £129. So that's the normal UK price. So what I've spoke to Hannah about as well, that how can we do something to help our UK team, because of the government charges, it's quite ridiculous, to be honest with you. But obviously, like, you know, from what I found out from other people, that other countries do pay, but for us in the UK, it's a new thing to us. And usually when it comes to change, natural reactions, we don't like change. So, but unfortunately, we've got to adapt to it. So the current price was 129, but obviously with Hannah's persistence, and obviously me reaching out to her as well to help out everybody in the UK, Organo Europe have actually scrapped that 129 price, which I'm over the moon to state. And now the revised price for the bronze pack is now £95, which is absolutely amazing. And this falls short of the government charges bracket, which is absolutely amazing. And I think for someone that is new in the business, I think bronze pack is absolutely great. How I started off in the business was buying a bronze pack and sharing products with people, sampling people as well. So this is an amazing way of starting the business without actually doing a huge outlay. Now, from my experience, I've been in the business for 10 months. I'm a 10-month star achiever. Which obviously I've got the customers who I supply my products to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So I have to purchase X amount of products to keep my customers satisfied. So Star Achiever is, to me, is a very, very, very important part of the business, and I absolutely love it. So the Star Achiever program which I like to touch base about. It's a great motivator for me, and I think it should be a great motivator for everybody as well, because there's so many people, especially like people like Eric and so many people around the world, like Julie, Johnny from obviously from Jersey, who obviously are like 40 plus, 30 plus star achievers, which is absolutely inspirational. I know Pete and Hannah are like 84, 85 star achievers as well. So obviously this star achiever program is absolutely amazing. So to qualify for a star achiever, you have to hit 450 PQV points. Now, in the UK, it's quite challenging to do. From my experience, when I became a star achiever in January, I purchased products normally how I normally do it. Literally, because of Brexit, there were delays. Which you can't hold, because obviously our European distribution point is in Poland, and because of Brexit, the laws have changed. Certain things were obviously got quite a bit messy, but obviously we're on the other side of it now, which is great. So to hit Star Achiever status without paying the government charges. Now, from my experience, when I purchased minimum 450 PQV points, I end up paying over £130 in government charges. Which we weren't aware. We were told by Organo that charges were going to be implemented by the government, but we didn't know how much, but we had to try to see it. So it literally cost me £130 extra to achieve Star Achiever. So even that, I still personally believe it is value for money, but obviously for a lot of people who are still kind of new in this business, who might think, wow, okay, if I'm paying 450, then 130 on top as well, am I actually going to be making money? That's going to be dipping into my profit. So what do I do? So basically, I've actually come up with a strategy to avoid paying the government charges. So if you can't, obviously if you can't beat the system, you just if you can't beat the system fully, then obviously there's always going to be loopholes where you can actually how you can actually get around the system. So what I've done for February this month, which is a great scenario. So I've got pending orders at the moment. I've actually broken down my Star Achiever order from 1 down to 4. It is a bit of a inconvenience, I would say, but guess what? I'm actually going to be saving £130. So I don't mind breaking down into 4 orders. So what I've done is I break it down to 415 PQV orders. So literally the OG 6-pack is absolutely a great one to do. Is it 6 or yes, the OG 6. So that's a great kit to get as well, because that comes under the threshold as well. So as long as your order is less than £135, that includes the shipping and taxes, £135, you don't pay any government charges whatsoever. But if you do purchase more than £135, then the government charges do kick in. And there is a delay in customs as well, because of Organo. One thing a little about Organo, they're professional. They submit all their documentations to obviously the company that we use, UPS. So unfortunately, from what I found out, obviously because our distribution point comes from Poland, what UPS are doing, they're obviously trying to save their money. So it costs them, every time they send a lorry from Poland to the UK, it costs them X amount of money. So what they want to make sure is that that lorry is full. So getting the lorries full isn't a problem, but unfortunately, it's not just Organo that use UPS. There are other companies, that do use UPS, and unfortunately, there are other companies who are not as professional as Organo. So when the products are put on the van, UPS do need import-export documents from that company. So if that company delays in terms of handing that information over to the UPS, guess what? There's a delay in the delivery kind of stuff. So I know UPS are working hard to try to work out ways around it, but at the same time, they've got to look at it from a business point of view on sending X amount of lorries over to the UK because of the Brexit laws. So obviously Organo are absolutely spot on. So I know a lot of people have been quite vocal in the Miracle of Organo group and in the other platforms as well, relating to obviously why hasn't my products arrived yet? Why is it taking so long? So especially in the UK, but unfortunately with post-Brexit, we kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen. So like I said, I don't want to go too much into politics, whether you voted to remain in the EU, remaining out. So unfortunately, people that did vote out, unfortunately, this is kind of the aftermath. But I'm hoping as time goes on, things would get a lot more smoother, but it is a bit of a process at the moment. So one way to avoid paying the extra... Ooh. Guys, can you still hear me at the moment?
Yeah, loud and clear, Ahmed. Your visual.
Sorry, no, I do apologize. My camera on my phone is actually just nipped off at the moment, so I don't know if my Wi-Fi is playing up, but that's fine. Just bear me 1 second. I'll just do another way. Just bear me 1 second. Oh, sorry. Sorry, yes. So basically, so with the actual Star Achiever, so best way to do it is break it down to 4 orders altogether, and I'm doing 115. So that will get you your Star Achiever program. So that's one out of the way. So the next one, guys, is basically another thing that Organa have done for us, especially in the UK and around Europe as well, is obviously they've actually introduced this. It's only like for temporary up until 31st of March. To join the business is £23. If you put all the taxes on top as well, it works out to £35. But guess what? Now, obviously, Organa done something amazing for Europe and amazing for UK as well. You can actually join the business for as little as £8, which is absolutely amazing. So this is absolutely brilliant. The only thing with the £8, you don't get the starter kit, but that's fine. Obviously, whoever your leaders are, we can actually work around it in terms of sampling, sending bits and pieces out to you. That's no problem at all. But this week so far, I've had 6 people that have actually joined the business on the £8 strategy, which is absolutely amazing. So we've got literally like most of the month to take advantage of this. So if there's any particular time, guys, to actually build to build a business, especially in the UK and Europe, this is the one. In Europe, it's €9, and in the UK, it's £8. So if there's ever a time now to build a worldwide business, this is definitely the now. So we've actually got up to 31st of March to actually get this all done, and you're literally good to go. So guys, anybody in the UK, if you need any assistance whatsoever, feel free to reach out to myself or Hannah on the Miracle of Organa group or on the UK Global Facebook group as well. Or anytime, obviously, ping me on Facebook. I'll give you all my time in the world, help you out as much as I can. So, I'm back. Fantastic. So yes, no, guys, if you've got any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask me. Put it in the chat if you like, but that's absolutely fine. Just bear in 1 second. Back from that. So yes, no. But guys, I just want to say thank you very, very, very much for giving me your evening this evening. And Dr. Bob, as always, thank you so much for the wealth of information, the knowledge that you give us, how much you inspire us every single day. So I'm going to send it back to you, my friend.
Very good. You know, I love that you shared the story of Hannah as a pure inspiration. That was after a 9-hour brain surgery where she was only given less than a year to live. And so let me change the cameras just a little bit. And I ended up writing the foreword to her book, and there she is, 8 years cancer-free. They spent a fortune on her survivability, and we have a beautiful friend now that's also winning a cancer battle. And so what we're doing as an OG family is we have an ebook on the health benefits of Ganoderma with tons of medical references. And basically, there's my friend Jessica. If we go back to just 3 weeks ago, that was her MRI of her face. And she had a massive tumor where they were going to do a surgery. And basically, it looked like they were going to remove half her face, which was really quite dangerous. But she found a great team that got it from the inside. Still a little more work to do, but that was her 2 weeks post-surgery. And we want to support her. So if you can purchase ebooks or as many as you want, that's absolutely fantastic. We have one gentleman that gave $300 for one book. Other people bought books for others, but I would actually encourage you, that's good, but encourage people also to give, because it costs half a fortune to take care of yourself after a trauma like that. So Hannah's a great example. Jessica will be another. We have multiple Zooms that we're going to do every single week. So with that said, we'll sign off. Great job, Ahmed. It looks like people in the UK really will benefit from all of that. And as I like to sign off, I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful. So if you're in the part of the world where you're going to bed, good night all.
Thanks, Dr. Bob.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Thanks so much.